What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and today we're going to go over 40 of the best solo builds to raid in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This video is going to get you set up for all types of raiding, whether you're going to be doing 5-star, 6-star raids, and even some of the 7-star raids. Some of these raids will be able to clear with no problem at all. Of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and let's dive in. So we're going to be starting with the best solo builds that you can get in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's base game. So not including the DLC and not including any of the home transfers. But even if you don't have that access to any of that, you still get some of the best raid Pokemon possible. And the #1 raid Pokemon overall, in my opinion, I do believe is Annihilate. And we have two excellent builds for this Annihilate. So Annihilate Terra goes with the Shell Bell. We're going to be running max HP, max attack, adamant nature, but of course you can change the HP to defense or special defense, whatever works best for you. And the ability to Defiant. Defiant's awesome because whenever your stats get dropped, you get +2 in your attack stat. And we're going to go Rage Fist, Bulk Up, Focus Energy, and Screech. You can also put Taunt on here and replace either Bulk Up or Screech, up to you. Now Rage Fist is awesome. Whenever you get hit, your Rage Fist will go up by 50, even if you die, and it caps at 300 power. So this move is incredible. So ideally what you do is you turn 1 Focus Energy and then you spam Rage Fist and then you just sort of win the grade. And as long as they're not resistant to ghosts, you should be able just to win pretty much nearly any raid, except for raids where you're going to be weak against, certain types. And if you want to run Annihilate as a fighting type, super easy. I do prefer the item Metronome on the fighting type because we're going to be spamming Drain Punch, and Drain Punch will give us back HP, which is really nice. And this one's a max attack, max defense variant, which I do like for the bulk. And on this one, I have Taunt here, which is great. And once again, you want to have bulk up and focus energy. So once again, you can turn 1 focus energy and just spam Drain Punch and just try to win the raid that way. But these two Pokemon will essentially give you most of the coverage you need in general. So definitely try to get an Annihilate. A little bit easier to get in the DLC, but you can definitely get it in the base game of Scarlet and Violet. Just like Annihilate, Iron Hands is another beast of a Pokemon, and we have two builds for it with a Fighting and Electric Terra. So the Fighting one, I recommend the item Scope Lens and max HP, max attack, adamant nature for it. And Focus Energy Scope Lens equals 100% crits every single time. So you could just go for Focus Energy and then spam Drain Punch and just win a raid like that, which is really awesome. We also have two different good buffing moves, which is going to be Swords Dance and Belly Drum. Now, Belly Drum will make us lose 50% of our life, so keep that in mind. So you're going to have to do that and then take a hit, and then probably take another hit the next turn because you might not be outspeeding the opponent's Pokemon, but it is a good option in general. But the point is, you can just have guaranteed critical hit Drain Punches, and that is really nice. Now, if you want to have a physical electric attacker, Iron Hands with the Shell Bell is really phenomenal too. Once again, max HP, max attack, adamant nature. And this one's a little bit different. We're still going to use Focus Energy because I think it's good. And we're going to be using Supercell Slam as our main damage move. Now, this is a move that is from the DLC. However, you can replace this with Thunder Punch. It will do a little bit less damage, but it's still the same general idea of the build. We have Electric Terrain. Will boost up electric type attacks, and will also give us an attack boost from our ability Quark Drive. And you can have Belly Drum on here, or you can replace it with Swords Dance, just depending on what you want to do. Now, another amazing physical attacker is going to be Azumarill. And Azumarill you can run with the Terra Fairy or with the Terra Water, so good physical options there. And the item Shell Bell. With max HP, max attack, adamant nature, you need the ability Huge Power, or this Pokemon won't work. Essentially, Huge Power will double your attack stat, so that 218 is actually going to be a lot higher. It's going to be in the 400, so that's going to be really comparable to something like the Iron Hands here. So pretty simple setup. It's going to be Belly Drum, and you're going to use Play Rough for the Fairy one. If you're using the water version, you're going to be using Liquidation instead. And then your last two moves don't really matter. Chilling Water is really good. It boosts your Terra Charge, but also lowers the opponent's attack stat. And then Mud Slap also lowers their accuracy and boosts your Terra Charge. So both are really good options, and Azumarill is just an incredible option for solo play as well. Next up is Slowbro. Now, Slowbro has been a really great Pokemon for using in 7-star raids. And we're going to go the Terra Psychic with the Shell Bell. And I'm running this as a max special attack, max defense variant with a modest nature. Of course, you can change defense to special defense or to HP, just depending what you want to do. And your ability doesn't really matter too much on this. But the important thing is you're going to have Iron Defense and Nasty Plot. So increase your defense, increase your special attack by 2. And you're going to have the move Stored Power. Now, Stored Power does more damage for every stat buff you have, which is really nice. So essentially, Iron Defense is going to essentially make one Iron Defense make stored power do 60 power as an example. So if you have 3 of those, that's going to be a lot more. And then you tack on 3 Nasty Plots, so it's going to be a lot more. Terra Psychic, and bam. And I think Chilling Water is a great move on this move set overall. You get to lower that attack stat by 1, and you just get to build that Terra Charge up and just give you some nice bulk in general too. Now, if you don't want to use Slowbro, you could use Vaporeon. It's going to pretty much do the exact same thing as Slowbro, but it doesn't have Stab Psychic. But it's going to be really nice because you can set up Calm Mind, which boosts your special attack and special defense. Not as much damage output coming, but you do get some nice special defense here. And you get Acid Armor, which is just Iron Defense. But the big difference is you do get Fake Tears. So Fake Tears will lower the opponent's special defense. Doesn't work through shields, but it is pretty nice. So I would say it's a worse version of Slowbro, but I do think it is one of the best raid Pokemon out there. Also, you have Water Absorb, which makes you immune to water. So really good when you're facing a Water-type Pokemon who happens to be weak to Psychic. Vaporeon will be very clutch in those raids. Now we have Koraidon here with the Shell Bell. Koraidon is a phenomenal fighting type attacker, the Terra Fighting and Shell Bell. And we're going to have max HP, max attack with an Adamant Nature. Our ability will set up the Sun and also boost our attack stat, which is great. And I like to run the Collision Course version of Koraidon. When it's super effective, this power is actually 133, which is nice. And you're going to get the additional attack boost from the Sun as well. So you're going to be hitting very hard. And you have Swords Dance here to boost your attack. You have Screech to lower the opponent's defense. And then we also have Spraking Swipe. If you need to lower their attack stat, you can. Now, this move is only in the DLC, but if you want to replace this, you can definitely put Drain Punch right here. Drain Punch will obviously give you back HP, and then you can do it with the Shell Bell to give you back even more HP if you want to go down that route. In Violet, people get Miraidon, who is honestly a much better raider than Koraidon. This is the best electric raider in the entire game. Terra Electric with Metronome is really great with max HP, max special attack, and a modest nature. You set up Electric Terrain, which further boosts the damage of electric attacks, and you get a special attack boost because of that terrain too. And you have Electro Drift, which is going to be power 133 if it's super effective. But another amazing move you have is Parabolic Charge, where essentially a special electric Drain Punch. It does a little bit less damage, but it's really nice. So you can use Metronome with Parabolic Charge and just spam that and just get all your life back. And it's going to do more and more damage every time you do it in a row. You can set up your Electric Terrain again if whenever it goes away. And then you can also set up the raid with a Metal Sound. So start it off with one of these and lower the special defense by 2. And then you can pop off with a big Electro Drift or use Parabolic Charge, just so whatever works better for you. Now, if you are in Pokemon Scarlet and you don't have access to Miraidon, Bellibolt is a great substitute. And we're going to do pretty much the exact same build. The Terra Electric and Metronome item. I'm running minus max special attack with max defense, but of course you can do max HP with max special attack and modest nature. Now, whenever you get hit, your next electric type move you use will be boosted, which is really nice. And essentially, we're going to use Acid Spray to lower that special defense, and it charges up our Terra Charge. Chilling Water to lower that physical attack stat and go through shields as well. And Parabolic Charge will be our main damage move to get that HP back for us, and with Metronome, do more and more damage every time we do it. And your last move, you can put Mud Slap here if you want. Reflect's another good option. There's a bunch of good options in that last slot for Bellibolt. Now, Goldingo is an incredible steel type attacker, one of the hardest hitting in the entire game. And we're going to have the Terra type steel with it. You can also do it with Ghost, but I do think steel is just overall better for Goldingo. And we're going to have Shell Bell. And I'm running max special attack, max defense, but you can run max special attack, max HP, up to you. And your ability is really good because you just cannot be afflicted by status effects, so you can't be hit with like a burn or a paralyze, which is just really nice in general. So you're going to be using Nasty Plot to boost your special attack, Metal Sound to lower that special defense, and your main damage move is going to be Flash Cannon. And when you want to really pop off, you can use Make It Rain. It will lower your special attack by 1, but it's going to do a lot of damage, and it doesn't miss, which is really nice too. Now, Berserker is normally a supporter, but I will say Berserker is absolutely incredible. And by the way, you can get this Pokemon, the Galarian Meowth, by doing the side quests in the Academy. So you can get this in the base game without any other assistance. And Berserker is so good because it is an absolute beast of a steel type physical attacker with Terra Steel and Shell Bell. Max attack, max HP, or max attack, max special defense to make it more of a generalist. with Adamant Nature. You want your hidden ability, Steely Spirit. This will boost the damage of steel type attacks, and this does stack. So you can have 4 Berserkers at the same time, and we're just going to be doing monstrous damage. Of course, you can do that with any other steel type as well, too. And Iron Head is going to be our main damage move. Swords Dance to boost our damage. Screech to lower their defense. And then we have Taunt. You can also put on Iron Defense as well. I believe you get Bulk Up, too. So a lot of good options, but Berserker is by far an incredible steel type physical attacker. Now, Skeledirge is an absolute beast of a raider, and we're going to have Terrifier in the item Shell Bell with max special attack, max HP with a modest nature. Now, you want that hidden ability Unaware, making it so you're going to be unaware of all of the target stat changes. So let's say they have +6 attack. Well, you don't notice it. Let's say they have -6 special defense. You don't notice it either. So positive, negatives, you do not notice on the target you're facing, which is really nice. And Torch Song is an amazing move. This is going to allow us to do damage, get HP back with Shell Bell, and give us +1 special attack every time we use it. So you want to set up with Torch Song, and then once you're at +6 attack, start using Flamethrower. You have a good heal with Slack Off here, which is an egg move, but you can get that easily with Mirror Herb. And you also have Sunny Day to lower the damage of water type moves, but also boost the damage of fire type moves by 50%. Another excellent Pokemon. Now, this is a Violet exclusive, but Ceruledge is absolutely amazing. Fire Ghost with the Terrifier and the item Metronome. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. The ability Flash Fire is really nice. You're immune to fire and it boosts up fire type damage. So it's actually really good when you're facing a raid boss who uses fire damage, because then you can hit them back with boosted Bitter Blade. So Bitter Blade is essentially fire type Drain Punch, but way better because it does more damage. And we have Swords Dance to boost our physical attack stat up. We have Iron Defense to boost our defense. I believe you also get Bulk Up if you want to mix of both. And Clear Smog's a really nice move because you can eliminate all of your opponent's stat buffs and debuffs. So let's say they did a Swords Dance, you can Clear Smog and remove it, and then you can just go along and Bitter Blade your way to victory. Pretty nice. Now, for some good fairy type attackers, Fluttermane is really good if you have Scarlet. Terra Fairy. Ghost Fairy is really good typing in general too, but Terra Fairy. And the item Metronome. Max special attack, max special defense, because you have really bad physical defense and HP. So I think it's better just using this against special attacking raids. But essentially, Draining Kiss will give us HP back and do damage. And with Metronome, you can stack the damage on that. Fake Tears lower special defense. Calm Mind to boost our special attack and special defense. And then we also have Moonblast to do even more damage. Now, if you are going to use the Moonblast a lot on it, then I would recommend removing Metronome and putting Shell Bell, just to make it a little bit more safer. But if you have Pokemon Violet and you don't have access to Fluttermane, Sylveon is an excellent replacement for Fluttermane with the Terra Fairy and the Metronome. Pretty much the exact same build. I'm running mine with max HP, max special attack. You do want your hidden ability Pixelate, which makes normal type moves into fairy type moves, and it gives them an additional attack boost. So Hyper Voice is a fairy type move, and it does way more damage, which was really nice. Fake Tears lowers that special defense. Calm Mind increases your special attack and special defense by 1. And then Draining Kiss is HP restore as well. So you want to use a lot of Draining Kiss with Metronome. But if you're going to spam a lot more Hyper Voice, then switch your item to Shell Bell. Now we're in the Body Pressers. Body Press is a move that allows you to do damage to your defense stat. And there's a couple really good ones in the base game. And I like Corviknight as one of them. Corviknight with the Terrifying and the Shell Bell. Max HP, max defense with a plus defense nature. This is impish nature. Your ability Mirror Armor is really nice. So if they try to do anything to lower your stats, it actually is going to go back and hit them. So hopefully if they try to lower your defense, it actually lowers their defense as an example, which is really nice. So pretty much all these body pressers play the same. You have Iron Defense and Body Press. And then you have 2 other moves. Screech is really nice because you can lower their defense by 2. And then you can taunt to prevent them from setting up anything. And then I think Orform is actually a little bit better than Corviknight overall. Orform with the Terrifying and the Shell Bell. Your ability Earth Eater makes you immune to ground and actually makes you heal from ground types attacks. So essentially one of your weaknesses is now one of your best strengths. And it's just super nice. And it's once again, max defense, max HP with Iron Defense and Body Press to increase your defense and do damage with your defense stat. And then Mud Slap is going to be your move to build up Terra Charge and lower the accuracy of your opponent. And then you have Protect. This is a 4th move because when they remove your ability for a turn, you're facing a ground attacker. You want to use Protect on that turn because you don't have an ability for one turn. But this is just like a safety measure. But overall, Orform's amazing, has slayed a lot of 7-star raids. Espathra is a really strong psychic attacker. Very frail, but incredibly strong, especially if you only have the base game. With a Terra Psychic and the item Shell Bell. Max special attack, max defense with a modest nature. The ability speed boost is really useful here because it's going to give you +1 speed. So you're going to allow you to outspeed your opponent eventually. Because every turn you just get 1 speed boost, which is really nice. And your signature move, Minion Crash, is a massive because it does 80 damage and it lowers their special defense by 2. So you can just sort of spam this and do a lot of damage. You can also use Calm Mind to give your special attack and special defense boost. And then once you've done enough Minion Crashes and with enough speed boosts, you will start using Stored Power. And Stored Power will do more damage than Minion Crash and is absolutely massive. So this is one of the best psychic attackers. You're just a little bit frail, so keep that in mind. But for 5-star raids, absolutely can destroy anything. And even a good amount of 6-star raids, you should be fine with it too. And Lurantis is a really strong grass type attacker here. Terra Grass and the Shell Bell with the max special attack, max defense. You can run max HP as well if you want on the modest nature here. The ability Contrary makes it so any moves that will lower your stats actually increases it and vice versa. So Leaf Storm is actually going to increase our special attack by 2, which is really nice. And we're also going to be using moves like Energy Ball because eventually you're going to be running out of Leaf Storms, and Energy Ball doesn't miss. So once you hit 3 Leaf Storms, get that +6 special attack, you can switch on over to Energy Ball for safety. Grassy Terrain will give further damage to your grass type attacks, and it's also going to heal you a little bit too. And then your last move, you can use Worry Seed. Essentially, you can change your opponent's ability. So let's say they have like Sap Sipper that makes it so they're immune to grass. You can just change that ability, and you can pretty much handle any Pokemon that is weak to grass. Now, our last Pokemon from the base game I really like is going to be Scizor. You can run this as a Steel type as well, but I think it's more unique as a Bug attacker. And the Shell Bell item, max attack, max defense, max attack, max HP, whatever works for you. Your ability should be Technician. Technician is going to increase the damage of moves that do 60 or less power, which is going to be really massive. And Swords Dance is going to be our main buffing move. Iron Defense buffs our defense. And we have 2 good moves. So Fury Cutter is going to do more damage every time you hit with it, and it's going to cap at 140. If it misses, though, it goes back to the beginning, but I do think it's a really strong move here. You could replace Fury Cutter with Bug Bite if you want to, because Fury Cutter will surpass the power of 40, and Technician won't be as useful. And now Lunge is a move from the DLC, so you can change this to something else. But Lunge is a great move if you do have access to the DLC, and this will lower the target's attack by 1, and it does good bug type damage. So you have some good options with Scizor there. And now let's move on to some of the DLC Pokemon. And now for the best DLC raid builds, and the sleeper hit I actually think is Cleaver for bug type attackers with the item Shell Bell. You have the ability Sharpness. Sharpness increases slicing moves by 50%, which is pretty huge because it works with Fury Cutter. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature, which is ideal here for just general bulk. And Fury Cutter plus Sharpness is absolutely massive. As long as you don't miss a Fury Cutter, this is going to do an insane amount of damage. You also have Struggle Bug here, which will lower special attack, which is pretty decent because you don't have the best special defense. Swords Dance increase your physical attack by 2, and then Focus Energy giving you that 50% chance of critting. Critting with Fury Cutter will do a lot of damage, so don't sleep on Cleaver. It's really strong. Kommo-o is an excellent body presser. I love this Pokemon for body press. So Terra Fighting with Shell Bell, max HP, max defense with a impish nature, and I like the ability Bulletproof. It makes you immune to certain moves that are like Shadow Ball, Seed Bomb, really strong stuff right there. So it's actually just general nice immunities. And as our regular body pressers, Iron Defense body press is very important. Taunt will, make it so they can't do any status moves to you or on themselves. And then Breaking Swipe will lower that physical defense and also give some nice Terra Charge orbs. You could run him as a physical attacker with something like Drain Punch and Belly Drum. That's honestly a really good build too, but I do think this is Kommo-o's best build is the body press variant. Now, Ogerpon is really strong. I do think the best version of Ogerpon is the version where it's just the vanilla grass one with the item Shell Bell. Max HP, max attack, adamant nature. You have the ability to Defiant, so if one of your stats get dropped, your attack goes up by 2, which is really clutch. And we're going to boost our attack with Swords Dance. Focus Energy gives us a 50% chance of critting. Horn Leech is essentially Grass-type Drain Punch, so it gives that HP back. So you could do a Horn Leech build, and instead of having Shell Bell, you can have Metronome. And Ivy Cudgel, though, is very awesome because it's a 100 damage, 100 accuracy Grass move that has a high chance of critting. If you focus energy into Ivy Cudgel, you have a 100% chance of critting. So always critting and then Shell Bell recovery is going to be absolutely massive. But I do think Ogerpon's a little bit slept on as a solo build. Now for another excellent grass build is Superior. Superior is straight up a better Lurantis. And you have the Terra Grass and Shell Bell item with the max special attack, max defense, with a, honestly, modest nature. I had this from a previous raid, but you would go modest nature and max special attack on it. The ability contrary. The reason why this is better than Lurantis overall is because you have Breaking Swipe, and Breaking Swipe will lower the physical attack stat, so it just makes you generally survive longer because you can lower the physical attack of some Pokemon. But the general idea is you Leaf Storm to get that special attack up. You can use Giga Drain here, or you can use Energy Ball to do some damage once you're at +6. And then your last move, Reflect's good if you want to get more physical bulk. I like more physical bulk, but you can also have Grassy Terrain here as well. You can have Gastro Acid to remove an ability. You have a lot of good options with Superior. This is definitely one of the better Pokemon out there. Next up is Malamar with the Terra Fighting and the item Shell Bell. Now, you have another Contrary user right here, except this one's going to be on the physical side. Max attack, max defense is what I'm running, but you can do max attack, max HP with an adamant nature. And superpower, instead of lowering our attack and defense, boosts our attack and defense by 1 each time, which is really nice. We also have skill swap, so you could give contrary to your opponent, and then if they're trying to boost their attack, let's say they use Swords Dance, they will actually drop their attack by 2. So this is a really nice move that Malamar is exclusively getting. You also have Taunt here. And if you're doing the Terra Fighting one, Terra Blast, because you eventually run out of superpowers. So you can Terra Blast, and then this will be Terra Fighting, which is really nice. But overall, Malamar is really nice. You can use this with multiple different Terra types, and it still works, but the fighting version does work the best. Now, I like Dark-type Urshifu the most out of the two Urshifus, because I think Wicked Blow is overall a better damaging move than Surging Strikes. But essentially, Dark Urshifu is really nice with the Shell Bell. I'm running mine with max attack, max defense, but you can do max attack, max HP, or max special defense. Unseen Fist makes it so they can't protect against their attacks. And Wicked Blow is our signature move, and this will always make us land a critical hit. So that 75 is essentially getting doubled, which is huge. We have Swords Dance to increase our attack, Iron Defense to increase our defense. You could put Bulk Up here instead for one of these if you would like. And we also have Leer to lower that defense by 1. We don't really have a lot of great options on this Pokemon. You can also replace one of these moves with Crunch if you're ever afraid of missing out on Wicked Blows for some reason. Use 8, then you have Crunch in the background. Rayquaza is probably our best flying attacker outside of another Pokemon we'll see. Rayquaza Terra Flying with Shell Bell, max HP, max attack, adamant nature. Dragon Descent just does an insane amount of damage, which is really nice. Swords Dance to boost our attack, Bulk Up to boost up our attack and defense. And we don't really have a good fourth move, so I just have Dragon Claw if you just want to have another move on here that can do some good stab damage. I think that's pretty decent. But yeah, Rayquaza, really strong physical flying type attacker. Now, Kyogre is absolutely incredible as a water attacker. Terra Water with the Shell Bell, max HP, max special attack, modest nature. Our ability makes it rain at the beginning of the game. And honestly, Water Spout is an incredible move, so that's why we max HP on Kyogre. Essentially, it's going to make it so that Water Spout is going to do more damage because we have more max HP. And the lower our HP is, the lower the move's power, but it's a 150 water move that's rain boosted by 50%, stab. It's going to be insane, especially if the raid boss is weak against it. Then add Terra Water to it. It's crazy. We can put up a Rain Dance, Calm Mind, increase our special attack and special defense. And you have Chilling Water if you want to lower their physical attack, but you can replace Chilling Water with something like a Surf as well. That's a really good move you can have on Kyogre as well. Now, Necrozma Dust Wings is really strong. Now, this is a fusion, so you will need Solgaleo and you will need Necrozma. and you would have to fuse them together, but it's a really good Pokemon. And you can run this both as Terra Steel and Terra Psychic. Both are really nice with the item Shell Bell. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. Your ability is nice, reduces the power super effective attacks that hit this Pokemon, which is, you know, more survivability. So essentially this build is, if you're using the Steel one, you use Stun, Seal, Strike. If you're using the Psychic one, you use Photon Geyser. Morning Sun gives you back HP 50% more if there is the sun up, less if it's other weather. And Swords Dance will give you +2 attack, and you can figure out your last move. There's not too many great moves, but you can figure it out. Essentially, amazing physical steel attacker and amazing physical psychic attacker. I mean, 454 attack is insane. Do not sleep on this Pokemon. Ursaluna is incredible. Now, not Blood Moon, but regular Ursaluna that you can get from Pokemon Legends Arceus is busted. Now, Terra Ground with the item Flame Orb, because we're going to have the ability Guts. So, Flame Orb is going to activate on end of turn 1, and it's going to boost our attack stat, which is really massive, and we already have a huge attack stat. So, we're going max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. And because we're a ground type and a normal type, Facade is going to do double damage because we're going to be burned by the Flame Orb. So this is a 140 damage move with our massive Guts ability and attack stat. The Facade is just, like, this is one of the best Ray Generalists out there. This is up there for Annihilate in terms of how good it is overall. And Headlong Rush is our signature ground type attack. It will lower our defense and special defense. So you can replace this as an Earthquake if you want. And you have access to Belly Drum, so you can turn 1 Belly Drum and then turn 2 Facade and just do massive amount of damage. And you also have Swords Dance you could put instead of Belly Drum. We also do learn Drain Punch, so you have a couple options, so you can spec it how you want to. But overall, this Pokemon is absolutely one of the best. Now, for another amazing build, we got Hisuian Samurott, and you can run this as a Water Attacker or a Dark Attacker. This is the Dark variant with Shell Bell. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature, and you have the ability Sharpness, which increases slicing moves by 50% damage. Super easy stuff. So Swords Dance, boosts your attack by 2, Screech lowered your defense by 2, Focus Energy increases your crit rate by 2, and combine that with Night Slash, making Night Slash 1 a slicing move, but also a high crit move, meaning 100% chance to crit with Night Slash every single time. You're going to be doing a crazy amount of damage. Now, if you want to run the Terra Water run, you could put a move like, I believe you get Aqua Cutter on this, so Aqua Cutter is a really good, and it also boosts the critical hit, so you will be able to get 100% crit option on Hisuian Samurott. Now, Calyrax Ice, I think, is phenomenal. Now, this is a home build because Calyrax is only available in home. You can get the horses otherwise, but, you know, if you want to get the combo, the fusion, you're going to have home. So Calyrax Ice is really cool. It's the best ice attacker in the game with the Shell Bell. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. And you're going to be running Glacial Lance, Swords Dance, and Iron Defense as your main moves. As your last move, I like Avalanche because you're going to be slower than everything else. So this is going to also double. So this is essentially a 120 power move once you're out of Glacial Lances. But if you're not worried about that, you could put Taunt here instead as another great move as well. And yeah, this Pokemon just hits very hard. 471 attack with a Swords Dance, and then Glacial Lance spam is going to do a ton of damage. And I just think this Pokemon has a very unique niche in the meta for raiding. Now for some of our mythical options here. And Mew is the Pokemon that can learn everything. And you essentially can make Mew whatever Terra type, and it's going to be very good. And you have the item Shell Bell and max HP, max special attack. You should have a Modest Nature on here to further do that. Or you could make this max HP, max attack Adamant Nature because it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna be hitting everything super effectively because you learn every TM in the entire video game, right? So as an example, if I was to have my Mew to be Terra Ice, I would have Ice Beam as my damage move, and then pretty much you would fill in these other moves every single time. Nasty Plot to increase your special attack, Acid Spray to lower their special defense, and then you can have a move that lowers their physical attack if you're afraid of something like that. So like Chilling Water is really nice, or you want to worry about their accuracy, you can put Mud Slap here. So essentially, that's how you want to build every single Mew, is just fit in a couple of really strong moves and then put your main damage move. If you're doing a physical attacker, you would obviously replace Nasty Plot with Swords Dance here. There isn't a physical version of Acid Spray, so I do think the special attacking Mew is a little bit better overall, though. Now, Arceus is probably the other best raider in the game besides something like Annihilate and Ursaluna. Arceus has 2 different builds, and this is the general Arceus. So it can be any Arceus. For the example here, this is just an example of a Terra Dark with the Dread Plate, and you put the plate on to change the type for you, and it gives you a little bit more damage. Max HP, max special attack, modest nature. Essentially, you always want to have Chilling Water and Acid Spray. Chilling Water lowers that physical attack, just if you're facing a physical attacker, makes it easier for you overall. Acid Spray lowers that special defense. Judgment will turn into whatever type you are, so this Judgment will be dark because we're a dark Arceus. And then because we don't have Shell Bell, because we have to have a plate on, then we're going to have Recover. But Grass Arceus is overall the best Arceus because you do get Giga Drain. So it's going to be the same thing for the most part, right? So max special attack, max defense. I'm running on this, but you can do max special attack, max HP. And essentially, Acid Spray and Chilling Water is what you're going to be running here. And Giga Drain is going to be our damage move. So we don't need Judgment anymore because we're going to be getting HP back from Giga Drain. And it only does 25 less damage. So a little bit less damage, but you're getting your HP back. So I don't see the point in having Judgment. So you can put Iron Defense to further boost your defense in this raid if you would like to. I mean, you have a couple of options. You can put Calm Mind here as well. So Arceus Grass, I think overall is the best version of this Pokemon. It's just incredibly strong. Now, another fun Pokemon is Zapdos Galarian with the Terrifying, the Shell Bell. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. You have Defiant, so if one of your stats drop, your attack goes up by 2. And your signature move is Thunderous Kick. 90 damage, 100 accurate fighting move that always lowers your defense. So essentially, you can just do like a turn 1 focus energy and just spam Thunderous Kick and just keep lowering the defense and get crits and do a massive amount of damage. If you want to boost your attack and defense, you have a bulk up option, and there's really not a good 4th move, so I just have Protect just in case. Manaphy is absolutely one of the best raid Pokemon overall in the game, with the Terra Water and the Shell Bell, with max HP, max special attack, and a modest nature. Tail Glow is incredible. This boosts your special attack by 3, so it's better than Nasty Plot. Essentially saves you 1 turn. It's 1 turn faster than Nasty Plot. So you can use 2 Tail Glows and then just hit Surf and sort of just win. It's just an absolutely incredible build right there. You also have Fake Tears to lower special defense. You get the opportunity. And then your last move, you have a couple options. I mean, you can put Hydro Pump. I think Mud Slap's a really good move. Chilling Water is another good move. Acid Armor is another really good move. So there's a lot of good options for that last slot for a Manaphy. But overall, you have those 3 moves. You pick your favorite last move, and you're going to absolutely sweep with this thing. Now, one of the best solo Pokemon of all time is going to be Magearna with the Terra Fairy and the item Metronome. Now, you're going to have a max special attack, modest nature, and you can do max HP, max defense, or special defense, up to you. Your ability is made for solo because whenever one of your allies faint, you get a +1 special attack boost, which is absolutely massive. And Metronome plus Draining Kiss, meaning you do a lot of damage and you get some HP back every single time. You have Iron Defense to further boost your defense and make yourself bulkier. Calm Mind to increase your special attack and special defense by 1. And then if you need a tactical nuke, you can use Fluoro Cannon, which will essentially be doing insane amount of damage. It does drop your special attack by 2. It's a great way to finish a raid. And then our last raid build is going to be Enamorus. I think Enamorus is really strong with the Terra Fairy and Shell Bell. It has Contrary with max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. You're going to do Superpower to spam. And so this is going to increase your attack and defense by 1 each time you use it because you have Contrary. And then you can Terra Fairy into Play Rough to do a massive amount of physical fairy damage. You have Taunt to prevent them from setting up. And then Mystical Fire to lower their special attack if they are a special attacker. But there you have it, guys. These are the 40 best raid builds. Technically more than 40, you know, because technically Arceus is, you know, 18 builds on Mew if you want to go all the way around that. And a couple of these Pokemon have different variants, like, you know, Samurott, Dark, and Water, and things like that. But overall, that's 40 raid builds that are going to be really helpful for you. And I think these are some of the best solo builds in the entire game. But let me know in the comment section below what other solo builds you think should be in the video. Just post them and I want to hear them. But anyways, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Support my work. by becoming a channel member. I really appreciate it. Hit that join channel member button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.